back to Dreadful Encounters. Those of you who don't know me, my name is Joy. I work as an engineer. I run a book personal growth account on Instagram, and today we're making a video on how to journal. This video is for beginners, people who have a hard time keeping a habit, and people who typically try to journal and then give up after a few days. Don't worry, I got you, because I used to be like you. Did you just find another journal? Yes. You're only gonna write for like a day. No, I'm gonna write in this journal every day. You may be wondering what qualifies me to make this video. Am I a journal connoisseur? Well, as a matter of fact, I am a journal connoisseur. I have been journaling since 2019, since I moved to New York. My rate is about like 3 journals in a year, but it wasn't always like that. I started consistently journaling because I had just graduated from college. I didn't have a job window. I had just broken up with my college boyfriend, so I was like heartbroken, sad, stressed, and I needed an outlet to really figure myself out, figure my life out, figure what I wanted. And that's why I started journaling. And I've managed to keep that habit for 4 years now. It's been really good for my mental health, and it has transformed my life. It's made me clearer who I am as a person, as well as the things I value in general. Disclaimer though, this video is for people who want to journal with paperback, meaning pen and paper. I've never journaled with apps or note apps, digital, whatever. I am very much a paperback girl. So let's get right into it. Step number 1, invest in your supplies. Get journaling material that you actually like. You know how when you want to work out, you invest in your equipment, like you invest in an overpriced gym membership or Lululemon shorts. You do these superficial things so that you feel more motivated to work out, right? In a similar way, you need to invest in a very good notebook and pen. I personally swear by the lecture. Only like not used the lecture maybe twice in the past 3.5 years. I like the dotted pages a lot. This ranges from like $25 to $30, which some people think is a lot. There is a reason why this costs $25. I'm a very firm writer, so when I write, it bleeds to the next page. Typically, if the paper is super thin, then I just can't write behind it. You don't have to get the most expensive notebook out there. Buy a notebook that you like and that you can actually see yourself using. For pens, I swear by the 0.5 Muji pen. They're so comfortable and the ink does not smudge, so I highly recommend them. And they're also on like the cheaper end of pens. I know the Pilot pens are also popular, but I personally just really like the Muji pens. But about the pages, it can be dotted, it can be blank, it can be lined. Get whatever format you like. I personally like dotted because I'm messy and I don't like being constrained in rules and boxes. So I like it when there's like a lot of clear space for me to just like go around. Tip number 2, align your expectations. So when I started journaling, I watched a bunch of like bullet journaling videos on YouTube, and they're very aesthetic, very cute, but there's a single problem. First is my handwriting, it's crap, and 2, I can't draw. Like, I'm horrible at drawing. I had this like expectation that my journal would be super colorful, super pretty, and in real life it looked like chicken scratch. I thought upon my first time journaling, I could just sit there and journal and write about my childhood trauma, fears, expectations, all in 20 minutes. Let me tell you that it was crazy. It's crazy that I had those expectations in the first place. Journaling doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't have to be aesthetic. I keep using the gym analogy, but it is exactly like going to the gym. When you keep going, you slowly improve. The same way when you journal, the first few times will be uncomfortable just sitting there for like 20 minutes. But if you keep doing it and if you're consistent, you get naturally better at it. My third tip for you is to start small. So there's this journal called the 5-Minute Journal. It's like endorsed by Tim Ferriss, and I really got into it. Essentially what the journal does is it tells you to write 3 things you're grateful for, 3 things you want to do, and starting with a gratitude journal is the easiest way to get into journaling. Set your calendar, set a schedule, an alarm on your phone for 5 minutes every single day at the same time, where at the end of the day you write 3 things you're grateful for. And it really doesn't have to be anything grand or deep. It can just be like 3 little things that make your day better, that specific day better. Like today, the sun is shining, New York is not so freezing cold anymore, so I would write that as the first thing I'm grateful for. Or if you're type A like how I used to be. You can start the day by writing 3 things you'd be so happy if you accomplished, which also I'm borrowing from the 5-minute journal method. Or if you want a deeper emotional check-in, you can write 3 things you felt. And the next bit is my favorite. My recommendation is to do an emotional check-in and just ask yourself questions that will help you understand your emotional state of mind. The questions I like to myself is, how am I feeling today? How have I been feeling lately? Or if there's something in particular that made you exceptionally happy or exceptionally upset, you can start the prompts with like, what happened today? What happened in particular that made me feel certain feelings? What did I feel? For example, I'm having a bad day and it's because my manager yelled at me, just as an example. I'll write my journal like, today my manager yelled at me and that made me feel in the moment upset. But after feeling upset, I realized I felt more embarrassed and I felt incompetent. That's a good way for me to like unpack my emotions, because normally emotions is like layered cake of tiramisu, where like the cocoa powder is just what you see, but they're like deeper layers that are actually the feelings you're feeling, but you can't really see it. But my tip is to journal not just when you're like really upset or angry, but also when you're happy. It's a good way to keep an emotional check. Annually, you're supposed to go to a doctor and do like an annual physical, or you're supposed to like exercise regularly or eat healthy, and not just take care of your health when you're sick. You shouldn't just take care of your mental and emotional health when you're already down. Tip number 5 is to make it fun. I invest so much in stickers. I say I invest and not just buy, because in my subconscious I'm telling myself that this is worth it, because this is something that's gonna make me better, by making my life better, by making me happier. There are people who are like good drawers, good watercolor painters, artists, so they have like color pencils, markers, and they draw and make their journal fun. So it's not just like a wall of text. But unfortunately, I am not artistic. I am, however, a big ranter in my journal, so just rant, and it's like paragraphs of words, and I make it a little more colorful, a little more light by adding stickers. Do whatever you think makes it fun, whether it's adding an old photo. What do you think will make your journaling experience more fun? The last tip is to take advantage of habit forming methods. The very same way you're trying to like develop any habit, you have to be intentional from the get-go. You have to tell yourself that this is something I want to make a habit of, so you need to really make a habit out of it. There's like no other way. You're never gonna one day wake up and suddenly be like, I'm gonna journal every day. That's not gonna happen. You have to be intentional. You have to initially force yourself and ease yourself into it by setting these schedules, starting small, and staying consistent from the get-go. So one of the easiest ways to form habits is to try to force yourself for like the first 20 days. After 20 days, it becomes more natural. If maybe after 20 days you feel like you're still not into journaling, maybe journaling isn't for you. Maybe you should meditate, maybe you should do other things. But for the first 20 days, like, you can draw like boxes in your journal and you can color one box every time you're done. I know that it's a known concept. Humans love streaks. Like, it's a lot easier to keep a habit if you have a streak and if you start small. And maybe ask yourself, why do you want to journal? Why do you feel like you want to journal? If you know your why, it's also a lot easier to form your habits, instead of you just think like, oh, journaling is good for me. I heard journaling is good. People are doing it. Everyone's doing it, so I'm going to journal. That's going to be a lot harder because you deep down don't really desire it. You need to make sure your internal self is aligned. For me, my initial why was I wanted to get my life together. I was tired of being sad from my breakup and for not having a job, and so I decided to start journaling. And after I journaled consistently for about 6 months, I was in a much better place emotionally. I got a job, I got over my ex, I was so much happier. And then at that point I was like, damn, this is such a good thing. This is something that's so good. I don't want it to ever leave my life. And to be truly transparent with you, I don't know if I'm going to journal forever for like the next 10-20 years. I feel like things might be different then, but for now and for the foreseeable future, I see journaling as such an integral part of my life, and I really hope that you're able to enjoy the benefits of it as well. So yeah, that's it from me. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any more questions about journaling, feelings, or books, please drop them down below. I will do my best to answer them, and I hope to make more videos. So please subscribe, and if you enjoyed this at all, please like this. Thank you.